want to talk about how the defense and prosecution have performed over the course of this trial. Joining us now, former prosecutor Jim Shalek and defense attorney Rebecca Nitkin, joining us here on our studios. Thank you very much. Let's talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses in the presentation from the prosecution and the defense. I know that specifically you were very concerned about the way the defense handled some of its response to proving about bodily harm.
Sure. First of all, I thought the defense did an incredible job, fantastic job. The only thing I would have liked to see is a little bit more emotion, because the prosecution just dealt with emotion because they have no facts. And I would have loved to have seen him talk to the jury and throw in the emotion and say, if you believe that Zimmerman, bam, got punched in the nose, started sucking down blood, then bam, got his head smashed on a sidewalk instead of just showing the sidewalk, and said, oh my God, my head, and then, oh no, what if I'm going to be knocked out unconscious and I have to get my body back there?
Why do you think that type of emotion makes a difference in front of the jurors?
Because they have to put themselves in his place, and they have to be in his head and in his feet and be sucking down the blood and feeling all of the pain and the fear that he was feeling, and then say, you know, and then we proved that he was on his back because we have all of the wetness on his back, and we showed you the broken nose, and they didn't show you any way else he could have had that broken nose. And we showed you the injuries on the back, and sure, we already proved to you that he was a 0.5 in physical strength, so maybe his head wasn't split open, but we brought in all the medical examiners and all of the people to show he really got hurt. And it does not matter in his head, in his feet, if his head was split open. If he felt scared, that's beyond a reasonable doubt, and he gets to use the force. How many times do we hear that? 13 times he's a child, many times Skittles, iced tea, child, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is what was in George Zimmerman's head at the time that he used the deadly force. And if they cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he wasn't in fear, that he was going to get hurt seriously, that's it. It's over. They did not prove second degree. They never should have charged it. They wouldn't have charged it if all the civil rights people didn't come out and manipulate the entire system. It never should have been charged, we all know. And just one question that I've not heard anyone mention: if everybody is disagreeing everywhere you look, what is that? Reasonable doubt. Every panel, we're arguing, every single panel. That's reasonable doubt in the biggest RD you've ever seen.
But there's no doubt that Zimmerman got out of the car and followed him.
What?
And
Following someone is not against the law.
No, but he put Martin in a position to get into the fray with him.
Punch him in the nose and throw him on the cement with an armed weapon.
Martin's followed. He tells his girl, I'm being followed. Why are you following me? And he turns around to react.
No, he's got 4 minutes.
As we can see, this is obviously very polarizing and very contentious still, and people, are, can't agree even here in the studio about whether he's guilty or innocent.
Together.
And yet, there you go. So the jury has a tough time as it continues on with its deliberations. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.